Okay, you guys all set?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, at 6:30, I'm gonna open up tonight's Mashpee Conservation Commission meeting for Thursday, March 7th, 2024. Tonight, we are meeting in the Papaneset Meeting Room, Mashpee Town Hall, 16 Great Neck Road North, both in person and in joint meeting via Zoom. Should I read the passcode numbers? I don't think I have to do that.
No. Yeah.
Okay, before I do start the meeting, if you would like to join me in pledging allegiance to the flag, it's over there in that corner. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll start with a moment of silence and leave it up to you as to who would like to remember. Thank you. So many things going on, it's hard to focus on any,
Isn't that sad?
trying times. Okay, I'll begin with the public comment for any issues that are not related to agenda items that we have posted for tonight's meeting. So if there is somebody here that would like to speak to the commission, yes, sir. Can I have your name?
My name is Tim Day.
Tim.
It's my colleague, Harold Korn. We represent the Papaneset Beach Association Board.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. We had, I think it was on February 15th, brought a letter to the board asking for 2 items. And we haven't received a response. I was just, on behalf of my board, trying to find out, will there be a response coming to that letter we read into the record?
I wasn't aware of the fact that you were requesting a written formal response from the commission, but if that's what you would like, I will see that you get one.
Okay.
Sure.
Can you also speak to the points that were delivered in that letter? One was participating in with the Conservation Commission, and the other was delaying until the DEP implemented their regulations.
Sure. I won't speak to that now. This is just public comment, but I can have that outlined in the letter that we send out to you.
I appreciate the help.
Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I just make one comment because you're here? It's nice to see you. There are a few items on the agenda tonight that also relate to your organization, Save Lucky Bay.
Oh, I'm actually Papaneset Beach Association.
Papaneset Beach would be interested. I'm just saying,
Yes,
It-
sure.
you should just take a peek if you haven't.
No,
It's just the agenda.
I will do that. I appreciate that. And we work closely with Safe Papaneset Bay, so we can maybe get some information
That's
tonight
right,
too.
that's
So stick around. Thank you.
Very good, very good.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? Nobody online? There's some people like that.
Yeah, we're all here for hearings.
Hearings. Okay. All right, moving along. I think I'll forego the pre and post hearing agenda items until after our hearings. So with that, we'll move to the first scheduled hearing for tonight. There's hearing scheduled for 6:30, 29 Riverside Road. Russell J. and Ann E. Spencer. This is a proposed raise and replace of a single-family dwelling, including garage and a septic system upgrade. Representative is BFS Design Inc., and this is an RDA.
Let me make a quick comment. I'm Ann Spencer. It's Russell L. I don't know if that matters, but it's not Russell J.
Okay. Sorry about that. I had
Okay.
J, but yes, that would matter. Yes.
That's me.
Russell L.
Yes.
For the record.
And
Tom Bunker was unable to make it tonight, and I'm a former employee of BSS Design, so he asked me to step in and present the project.
Sure.
Great.
Do I need to sit in a little?
If you want to come up here, that might be good.
So you usually have a throne, but it's not. Yeah, chair.
Okay.
So Andrew Garroway, registered landscape architect. Sitting in for Tom Bunker for BSS Design. I don't know if you want to put that up on the screen. Site plan.
We were here with the font. On the bottom symbol on the Microsoft Edge. Oh, right here? Yeah. Up to just minimize. Yeah. Yeah, go all the way up. It should be right there at the top, right there, 29 Riverside. Reason. Oh, yeah.
Want to sit here?
Yeah, I guess so. We do. Just gonna go for a sec. Okay, just go to the file. Then go to down on this and go to D. Right, this one. Go down, right there, Kingston D. And then it should be one of those plans. Next one down. There you go.
Okay. We can zoom in on the top a little bit.
Sure.
Do we have extra copies?
Oh, you are, yeah.
Agenda for anybody? Written down.
And if you can just kind of slide that a little to the left so we can see a little bit closer to the river. So I'll start at the river.
I have the one with the comment, so I can give away the other one.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm gonna be sharing my little notes here.
They.
Oh, it doesn't tell me. Right.
One's up for tonight.
I'm gonna just stand up there.
They're actually
if that's
two.
okay.
Scroll through. They're actually two.
So we have
Deal with Coffee Bay, Coffee Creek, probably.
Little River is located here, so we have the land under ocean, then we have salt marsh, edge of the wetland, edge of the salt marsh is here. And then we have the 75-foot off of the marsh is here, and then there's a 75-foot off of the salt marsh, which is here, and then the 150 and 150 here. We also have the thicker line that's coming and wrapping that building right there is the flood zone. That's out of the flood zone where that house is. And we have an existing house. And then cottage, another cottage here. And this project's really got two parts to it. There's an upgrade of the septic system for the cottages. And the house that's outside of the flood zone is going to be raised and replaced. I'll start with the cottages, and this is something they just want to do to upgrade everything. What currently happens here now is the cottage here, building number 2, goes to a septic tank. It flows into a leaching system here. Cottage 2 has a septic tank here that goes by gravity down to this pump chamber and septic tank, which also works as a septic tank for this cottage. That all gets pumped up here into the distribution box and into the existing leaching field here. So what they want to do is put a new septic system in, which I'll get to in a minute, but I'll just kind of cover what's happening here first. So this tank, I'll just double check. Make sure. Yeah, so this tank will be removed and filled, and as will this one will remain. I'll cover how that's all going to work afterwards. None of these buildings are being altered, neither and there's 2 sheds up here as well, I should mention. None of that's going to be altered. Nothing's going to be altered on the site except just to put a new leaching system that will go in this area and to put in a new pump system and new tank here. That tank will remain. That the house will be demolished. And I guess if we can slide up to the proposed work. Okay, so again, I'll stick with the lower half here to start off with. So as I mentioned, you can see the septic tank is being removed from here. The septic will now go to a new tank and pump chamber here. This had a tank here that's being removed. That's going to go directly to that tank. And then this will continue to exist. All this piping is the same up to about this point, where now it goes into the new system. That's going to be a D-Night system, of 0.75. I think that one's a 0.75, and then there's going to be another system over there. But so the only thing that's going to really happen here is just the septic system. And you know, all the grades will be the same and everything else in the flood zone. So when it is all done, it will be back looking the same as it is now. I think we should go now to the proposed raise and replace of the house. I don't know if we can maybe zoom out a little bit to start with, so I can kind of do a comparison. Whoops. So let me see. Whoop. Okay, slide
Let
it,
me know.
slide it down. I'll use my little hand here to, no, the other way.
Thank you. Turn down my use.
What was that?
I think it was somebody on Zoom. Up there. The internet.
Scroll down a little, up. Move the paper down. I don't know how to say it. Scroll up, I guess. Okay, so you can see the existing house up there. It's outside of the flood zone, and the work limit, as you can see, with the bales come all the way around from up there to wherever there's going to be excavation there, and the same here, coming down the side of the property and going to that first cottage. The house is going to be replaced with a new house and a new garage that will have a living quarters above it. The new septic system, instead of a small system that they have now out in front, this is going to be also a D-nitrate system. It's a 0.5 D-nit in there. There's no out here, there's no vegetation being taken away or destroyed, either natural or landscape. Up here in the flood zone, outside of the flood zone, there's some rhododendrons and some other ornamental plants that will be removed and then revegetated either by replacing same plants or with new plants. Septic is obviously, we're moving further away in both cases from the wetland, and upgrading, of course, to D-Night systems. And I guess I'll take questions.
Great, thanks. That's all that, which is quite well.
If I can get my ups and downs.
So I'll turn it over to commissioners, if there's anything that you want to.
How many of these, oh, I'm sorry, go Steve. You wanna go, Steve?
Yeah, you want to just go around the table?
Sure.
Okay. So, yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, what was the, where the new septic system and tank and pump chamber are going? What's the landscaping that's there now, or is it just?
It's parking lot of the leaching system in the lower section is mostly in a parking lot. There's no vegetation there at all, no trees coming down.
All right, so you're just gonna, I see where the gravel driveway is going, half of that, the leaching field, and the other half, that's gonna be grass put back in. or
Yeah,
something?
what's in it, it's kicked on the line, it's not,
Kicked on the line.
it's not a golf course by any means.
All right. Yeah, no, other than that, everything looks pretty good to me. It's pretty straightforward. Any questions?
How are you?
Very well, and you?
Good, thanks. I just, wanted to make sure that I'm clear on what's going and what's staying. In terms of square footage in bedrooms. So if on your existing, you've got the 2-bedroom. That's gonna become a 3-bedroom, right?
Correct.
And a 3-car garage that's going to become a 1-bedroom apartment above.
Yes,
So that's, looks like 2 additional bedrooms
yes.
altogether, and then the existing 2-bedroom stays the same. You're not touching that?
I'm sorry.
The existing,
No, that, everything, the building outside of the flood zone is being demolished and being replaced with a 3-bedroom.
oh, okay, this is good that I didn't hear that part of it. They're both, the 2-bedroom house.
Outside of the flood zone, the existing 2-bedroom house is gonna be demolished.
Okay,
And still outside the flood zone, there's gonna be proposed 3-bedroom house with a garage with a 1-bedroom apartment. For the,
so this one's going. This one's,
This is the existing.
right, right, but
So, no, then all these cars, this is staying. This is the new structure, so this structure's going away. This is-
all right, so that's what I thought. So the existing 2-bedroom. Number 3 on your,
Yeah, that's it.
that stays.
oh, yeah, everything in.
Three cars will stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the only one that's.
Those are seasonal, they're not insulated, they're not heated, they're used 2 months out of the year.
All right, so pretty much everything except the proposed 3-bedroom house are gonna be rentals anyway.
There's no rental, this is going to be our year-round residence with my parents above the garage. We currently live year-round in Falmouth,
Okay,
and we'll be selling that and building this, and my parents currently live in the small house and will move into the apartment above.
okay, you're not gonna rent out the other cottage?
You know, the cottages are used for family and friends,
Oh, cool.
they're quintessential Cape Cod, we never want them to go, they're. The one at the water has been there for 100 years,
Mhm.
the other 2 since 1950s, they're adorable, but they're not livable, they're not, they're just
So those are seasonal, but those 3,
correct.
so I've got this straight. All right, so just if you would just, connect the dots for me on the number of bedrooms and the current square footage stays the same on those 3 cottages that we just talked about, right? Right? So just tell me about proposed 3-bedroom, and then there's another bedroom above the garage, so
It's 4.
4. Thank you.
And I-
That would have been very computation for me. And tell me about the septic.
Everything is H20, so it can be driven over because part of it's underneath the driveways, obviously. Both of the septic systems are D-Night systems. The one for the new house is a in the paperwork, he said. Forgive me, because I don't know septics in and out, so I'm filling in. But there's 2 D-Night systems. The one closer to the wetland is a, I think we call it 0.75, yeah. 0.75 microfast unit. And then the main house, and that's what it's because of the Title V regulations, the way those cottages are, calculates out to a 6-bedroom system
Yeah.
based on the rules of Title V and how many rooms are in the cottages. So it's a 6-bedroom system. There was thought to bring both of these systems together in a combined
Yeah,
leaching area up near the street. But the health department said that was not advisable because of the seasonal use of the ones in the lower section. So that he wanted them to be kept separate. Because with these D-Night systems, it would kind of throw things off if you had the 4 bedrooms using it year round.
yeah.
And then the seasonal stuff just coming here, for short term. So that's why
So that's how they're separated.
that's why they're continuing to be separate.
And the lower system towards the water can be shut off for the winter.
Oh, cool. I'm good. Yeah, I was just looking for the other subject, but I can see it now.
You can back.
Okay, good. No, I'm good.
So now we're like a total of 10 bedrooms for this. Well, does the town flow movement bylaw come into play? I didn't see it mentioned in
This is all a single lot, correct?
Correct.
And it's less than an acre. $35 on the nitrogen count is this 75,000 square feet. I think the assessor card is 36.
Yeah, it was on 36.
But it's still not.
Yes.
So chapter 108, the flow neutral bylaw would certainly focus on this because you're adding 2 extra bedrooms by right on a developable lot. You're entitled to 4. And then you need an additional 10,000 square feet for each bedroom. This has got 8, they're grandfathered in, but there's actually a request to go from 3 bedrooms, or excuse me, 2 bedrooms in the large house that's being torn down to 3 bedrooms. So there's one addition. And then there's one in the garage, so there's actually 2 additional. So you would need an extra 20,000 square feet over and above a full.
And the flow neutral is,
That's chapter 108. That's
that,
based on the 2015 wastewater treatment.
so this is a health department regulation or conservation regulation?
This comes under conservation purview because under 310 CMR 10.0.
I just don't know what it is.
10.02, we're charged with protection of groundwater. This would have to be filed with the Board of Health, the plan. And then the Board of Health agent would be mandated under chapter 108 to have a public hearing in order to give that waiver. You would have to have a waiver to get those 2 extra bedrooms.
And I know that this has been in consultation with the health department. So I know that it must be in the process. I just don't know specifically because it was a health department. So they didn't.
They do their thing, we do our thing.
Right. So I don't know if it's,
So the seasonality of the bedrooms don't matter.
No.
From my understanding, and I'm not trying, I'm just talking, the cottages, the first one closest to the house it has partitions and completely open up above, so there's no privacy. There are no closets in any of the bedrooms in that cottage. The other building has 0 closets, and the front cottage has 1 closet in one of the bedrooms. So, you know, the definition of a bedroom is, in this situation, from what I understand, the definition of a bedroom,
Right.
you know.
yes.
But,
What it was before, though, and what it is now is what
My
throws this all into some question.
my question is this? I know it has to do with groundwater and everything else, but that is regulated by the health department. Am I mistaken on that?
No, you're not mistaken on that. The health department, it would be their call to look at the layout, whatever GPD you're applying for. And if the GPD is triggering those extra 2 bedrooms, then it's up to the health department
Yes.
to seek the waiver or grant the waiver at a public hearing.
I don't know, it must be in the works because I know this was heavily consulted with the health department. I know that for a fact because I didn't know the guy's name that's running that now. When Tom was talking about that with me, he was telling me how Zach was telling him about splitting it because he was gonna try to combine them. And Zach said that's not a good idea in this case because this is a different situation because it's seasonal apparently. But I can't tell you that I know the ins and outs on that, but I'm certain that the health department is either in process or they're aware of this project and they're definitely aware that there's 2 bedrooms being added to it. So if that's gonna be a problem, I'm sure they'll stop it.
It's up to the health
When it
agent
gets to that.
to deal with that.
And just to note, the nitrogen loading calculations for the 8-bedroom is being reduced by 35% going to the 10 with the new septics that we're proposing.
Right.
So what happens with us in the middle? So that we can have some continuity here, nothing, we just wait for the board of health to make their
This
determination.
isn't a notice of intent. We're not, looking at putting conditions on the project. We're just trying to figure out, the wetland is.
Say it again, Steve, I didn't hear you.
IDA.
Right,
Oh, okay,
right. So what we're trying to figure out is this applicable to
Yeah.
enough of the wetlands bylaw or the Wetlands Act for them to file a notice of intent or not? You have a choice of either
yeah,
a negative or a positive determination. But when I looked at it, I saw the flow neutral issue, and that's a big hangup. It's not the same, but it's kind of like a project that has to be filed with the zoning board. We don't know. We're kind of left up in the air as to what's gonna happen. And this is also sitting with zoning as well.
I'm sorry,
This is also sitting with the ZBA as well.
well, that's what I assumed, I
Yeah,
just
they
wanted,
haven't
so that you're
decided.
clear about it, and we're all clear about it. Does it get tabled? Do we make a excuse me for 1 second, do we make a determination on anything, or do we just so note it and wait for the other, particularly the board of health?
If it comes, the board of health is going to have the final say on that, right?
The board of health may have the final say on chapter.
So we could approve it, and then if they stop it, then, okay, if they come back for changes, amended order of conditions, right? But no, it's not even order of conditions, it's an IDA, so, yeah.
I have the question is, if that became an issue, what would the Conservation Commission be putting on into the order of conditions? Because of that, that would be different than if that's not an issue. I guess my question is, if we're gonna do it, if they have to do a notice of intent, the purpose would be because there's a condition that needs to be made. If this is my understanding anyway, that the RDA is, we've got everything covered, we don't need to put any conditions on it. So if that's the one issue, if we went and everything goes out fine with them, and then we have to come back with a notice of intent, what would be the condition that the Conservation Commission would be making that would make you want to have it come in as a notice of intent?
The only conditions that we would probably be looking at is very minimal mitigation. But as a commissioner, and I'm speaking for myself, dealing with the protection of groundwater, I'm not at all happy about an extra flow of 2 bedrooms. Especially in light of the fact that what we're up against with water quality and what we're spending to clean the water. So I'm a little concerned that this project is here at this stage, and we don't have a clear answer as to how this is going to sit with chapter 108.
But I guess the question that I have is, if that's in the health department's purview, they're gonna get on that and change the project. I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's definitely a groundwater is definitely a conservation issue, but it's in this case, it's regulated by the health department. So they're either gonna approve it or they're not, or maybe they have. I don't actually know. I'm afraid I got into this late and Tom's away, unfortunately. But I just don't, I guess I just don't understand why you turn it into a notice of intent when it's gonna be the health department that's gonna be giving us the order if there's some kind of a change that's necessary. It seems like it's a waste of your time and the process time for the homeowner and the expense of doing the notice of intent. It's very expensive to do a notice of intent. Yeah, so it just, I guess, and not taking away from the fact that it's groundwater and it's important and it is a conservation issue. I just don't know why adding to that process would make a difference one way or the other.
You know, in my opinion, and Mr. Chairman, correct me if I'm wrong, but my concern was the bedrooms as well, and how that's gonna impact the whole project. And my intent was just to save you the back and forth and back and forth. And the same for the conservation commission, they didn't want to create, you know, double work, triple work. But it stands out to me as something that's unaddressed, that does eventually land back in our laps.
But it is addressed, it's addressed by the health department.
But would it come back to us though? Like if the health department says you can't have the 2 extra bedrooms, you're just gonna have 2. It wouldn't come back to us. They would just carry on with 2 less bedrooms. So there wouldn't be anything for us to look at again.
Oh,
right?
well, only if they decide, if the homeowners decide they want to go ahead and find
Right.
some way.
Like if they change
it's likely they would.
significant on the plan, they
Yeah.
would come back to us. But I think if it stays the same and it's a bedroom question, can't that just be the Board of Health and we don't have to deal
I
with
think
that?
we can, but
I just feel like that's their department. Let them have to fight over the bedrooms. I don't know that it's something that we need to worry about. I don't, in my need,
I'm trying to avoid those 10 people coming and saying,
right?
you're supposed to be taking care of groundwater.
I know.
You
Well,
saw
it's
it,
like,
they're
imagine that
they're
they're
having
having
3
their
bedrooms,
meeting.
what were you thinking?
I know.
And they say that, of course, as you know, all the time. What were you guys thinking? Why did you let them add 3 bedrooms over in front of the waterfront, you know?
Well, but we wouldn't, that's their job to let them have bedrooms, not us, you know? right?
Yeah, Board of Health.
Yeah, they have to find 20,000 extra square feet, that's their fund. I don't know, I'm just saying, yeah, exactly, but that's, I know.
We would take out one of the cottages before we would.
Yeah, I'm sure Zach. has-
And that would have to come back as a new RDA, because the project.
Right.
That's what I'm saying, it would just,
It would change.
if it kicked back something unnecessary, busy work, that's not my intent. My intent is just to anticipate what has happened in the town and try and see if all the ducks can be in a row before.
Yeah, and my understanding is that Tom and the health department have the ducks in a row, but I can't swear to that because I don't know that for sure. But I know he's been in consultation
Mhm.
a lot on this project.
And the cottages and the septic system, the new one that's going to go in down there, we don't have any soil profiles or depth to groundwater or do we?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Where is it now?
It's damp at 1.7.
Yeah.
It doesn't sit, no groundwater, it's damp at base of pole. It's at 0.7, so
There's an
that's.
observation.
Yeah.
The diffuser.
Yeah, it's 5.6 feet to the healthy adjusted groundwater level.
Come on, do the math, right here, but that.
Yeah, I think Darren's right. It's like, okay, it's Board of Health's issue. You know, they're proposing 10 bedrooms that Tom Bunker and the health agent have worked out the details. Then they worked out the details. If they haven't worked out the details, and they go to chapter 8, going to kick in, they have to stick with 8 bedrooms. Well, the applicant's gonna have to say, all right, we're gonna take 1 bedroom out of cottage 2, 1 bedroom out of cottage 3. And you're back to 8 bedrooms, and that's the end of the day.
But we're
Doesn't-
good.
doesn't
We'll need to
affect
come
anything that
back.
We make a decision on. Yeah. So I'd say, you know, as an RDA, it's.
And hypothetically, is that what would transpire? You would just reduce the bedrooms from the cottages or did you say take a cottage out?
She said.
Well, I don't know
Figure
what's allowed,
something.
we would do what's
Right.
allowed, but we would reduce there versus reducing the new. The new
Right.
is going to be our year round for my parents and for my husband.
So if something had to go, it would be a reduction in the flow from one of those 3
If that is
cottages.
allowed, yes.
Chairman, if I may, at that point, the plan will change and your RDA is only approving this one.
Right,
So
So
that
you'd
we
be
have
back
to come in
here.
with an RDA.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just trying, I hate to say I told you. but-
No, it's a good point, it's all good.
Oh,
Okay, any other questions from commissioners? No? Questions from the public? No? Nobody online with questions? Drew, is there anything else you would like to add in?
No.
Okay, then I guess we're good.
Chair, I make the motion for a negative determination for 29 Riverside Road with plus of L and Eastman.
Second.
Do we have a motion for negative determination?
I'm in the same situation.
Made and seconded, now up for discussion amongst commissioners on if there's any other issues you want to bring up before I take a roll call vote. Hearing none? Steve?
Yes.
Marjorie?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
And I'm going to vote no. But motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very welcome, good luck. Tell your mom she's watching it, good mom, go to do it. They're awesome.
Have a good night, everyone.
Yeah.
Didn't leave any-
Thanks.
Thank you.
Call the 6:33 hearing for 279 Monomoy Square Road, CS Realty Trust, proposed raise and replace of existing single-family home, proposed garage, shed, landscaping, walkway to existing dock, and mitigation plantings. Representative is Wet Tech Land Design Incorporated and Colley Site Services LLC. This is a notice of intent, and it's continued from January 11th, 2024. And we have a request for a continuance to March 21st at 6:57.
So moved.
Thank you, Steve. Motion made and seconded, any discussion on it? Hearing none, I'll put the vote, Steve?
Yes.
Marjorie?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
I vote yes as well, right, Karen, it's unanimously. And that's the end, set March 21st. Is that the birthday? It's when? 19th is birthday. Okay, I'm gonna call the 6:36 hearing for 18 Cross Street Way. Kathleen Vandernook. This is a proposed extension of an existing fixed pier, ramp, and float. Representative is Cape and Islands Engineering. This is a notice of intent, DEP file number 433271.
Yes. Chuck Rowland, so, Chuck Rowland, Cape and Islands Engineering, sorry, have it. I'm filling in for, Mark Dibbs. I am, he was the engineer of record. I am an engineer for DE as well. I think I met you guys about a month or so ago on the project. So I'm representing the client at 18 Cross Street. The plans that you guys have in front of you, have been updated. We got some comments from the harbor master, so it's, in all intents and purposes, a very, very, very similar plan, except we are shifting the float in to accommodate the harbor master's comments, 5 feet on the south side and 5 feet on the north side, so 5 feet further in from the extent of the abutters piers. So, like you said, it's existing boardwalk pier, ramp and float, and we're extending the pier and pushing the ramp and float out, keeping the existing float. Will be inside the abutters piers. We're providing better separation of groundwater. Other than that, it's a fairly straightforward project. But with that, I'm taking questions. If you'd like, you can take a look at this plan.
Then, the 8 inch, that's right.
Okay, questions? No commissioners.
Chuck, is that the new plan?
It is.
Can we follow that so we can?
Sure, yeah. So very similar. This is the overall plan. It's just being shifted in. And then this is the detailed plan at 10 scale being shifted in And the harbor master had some concerns about.
So that's that dash line on the two detail that was there before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kept it, we didn't move that dash line, just so that way.
For reference.
Yes. So yeah, we had some comments from the harbor master and this is, what the harbor master agreed to. So he has. As far as I know, he has no opposition to it at this point. So yeah.
So I'm confused, this is new information.
Yeah.
That we don't,
Right, so see the dash line right here?
yeah,
Okay, the pier got moved 5 feet back in.
okay,
From that dash line.
okay,
That's only different.
that I didn't get, okay.
Yeah, I got it an hour ago.
Well, what the hell?
I know.
Can-
Then an
But
hour from now, right?
but can we do that if we're just getting it? I thought there was a deadline.
It all depends on how readily you can absorb the change.
So, on how bright my cerebrum with you processes.
I think it's a pretty minor adjustment. I
It
wouldn't
doesn't
want
look
to-
like-
If you
This
would-
is why I said that to Steve. He shows me, I say, well, I understand it now.
If you'd like, I'll revise your plan.
I have, would you do that? That's what I'll step outside, revise.
No, I don't even have to go outside. I'll just. Get right up.
Good thing you sat over there. Much more.
Yes, my ego is sort of, rude.
It's not me.
But Steve has one, I have nothing. No, I just,
One of the issues that I had, I looked at the plan and there was no, profile for the flow. And then I looked to the narrative and there were no dimensions for the flow. So then I tried to scale it off on my computer. It's not perfectly accurate, but I just did now on this plan. And it appears as though the float is 8 feet wide, 36 feet long.
So yeah, it's noted right here on the overall plan, the existing ramp, the ramp and 8 by 36 foot floats just being relocated. So it's here and it's being shifted out.
So how does that equate with regulation 27? Because we have a 200 square foot unit on flow.
I think that's a really valid question. So,
288 square feet, right?
so it all depends on what you consider to be, typically, what you consider to be a substantial improvement. So is adding a section of pier substantial to the point where you can regulate it? And cut it down, and then obviously we have to check with the client to see if we're okay with reducing it, or if you're okay with keeping the existing float. And in my opinion, I don't think we're making any work more detrimental to the environment than it's existing. We are providing further separation to the substrate, which is an improvement. I would assume that you guys would agree with that, but with that, I would. That's as far as I know where we stand with.
So you said 8 more square feet.
Well, if it's 36 by 8, it's 288, so it's 88 square
Oh,
feet.
88.
Yeah.
Over that's the 208.
I know we had revived 27 a while back, and the reason we dropped it down to 200 square feet is because we had floats that were just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And 27 now has been on the books for how long? Through a year or two almost.
Oh, longer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if this was a new pier, or if this was substantially changing, I think that it would be. I think that we would definitely have our hands tied, that we would have to be stuck to the 200 square feet. And we don't feel that this is that major of a modification that we should get stuck with the new regulations if we have an existing float. So that's kind of where we stand with that.
Yeah, you had to pull that in because it was sticking out further than what happened, so wanted.
Yeah, and that's more for public safety, but
What's the difference
48, yeah, 42, 48 too.
48 to that one. Well, that was the only issue that I saw that I wasn't pleased about. I don't like to see things approved that the regulations don't.
But is it, we're not changing the flow. That's kind of where we stand with that. But it's a valid point to bring up.
Any other questions?
No, just why didn't I get that piece of too much?
Any questions from the public? Hearing none. Drew, is there anything you want to?
Yeah, so I apologize. I had assumed that this was a new float. That's my fault for my comments, because I assumed it was gonna be 200 square feet, but now that that's been clarified that you are using the existing float, this is not a new float.
No.
And our regulations are not retroactive to existing conditions. So I agree that the float is the existing float and you're shifting it over as part of this application. The regs do not apply, in my opinion, to the float size because it's been existing prior to the regulation change. If this was a new float, it would be subject to those regulatory changes. I agree with that. No other comments.
Something like, is it an encapsulated float?
It has to.
Oh, so this one is for sure,
Yes.
even though it's an older float?
If it isn't, it would have to be. Encapsulated.
I thought I read that they were going for.
I think that, yeah, part of the project.
Oh, sure, yeah, sure.
This current float is encapsulated with the black plastic.
It is already encapsulated.
Okay. I accept the motion.
Any further comments or anything?
It wasn't, no.
No.
Okay, all right, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion for, the close an issue for, notice intent for 18 Cross Tree Way, Kathleen Vandernoot, and just for my comment, I do agree with you, Drew, it is an existing flow, been there, so.
Right.
It is what it is, and, you know, new, so I agree with that explanation. And then, wait a minute, before I'm gonna, have to go, we want to have a condition that the Shellfish Council requested that you're in allow the Mashpee Shellfish Program to continue seeding and utilizing the bottom under and around the proposed structures for future public harvest. The mitigation assessment is 6.2 square feet, which is a fee of $37.20.
Can I handle that?
You'd like me to pay it now, or-
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Calculation, with the-
So that's the amendment to
So now
my
I-
motion.
Now I can second the original,
Second the amendment.
yeah, second the amendment. Sorry.
With those conditions.
With those conditions.
Discussion amongst commissioners. Comment, nothing. Okay, I'll put the vote. Steve?
Yes.
Marjorie?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
You gonna vote no?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Please don't forget later, do you need me to stick around for certificates of compliance?
No.
Thank you very much.
Now calling the 639 hearing for 126 Summit Sea Road, Thomas F. and Patricia A. Brennan. This is a proposed stair reconstruction to access existing pier and hardscaping representative of BSS Design. The amended order of conditions, CBP file 433122. We have a comment here that the applicant has requested to withdraw this application without prejudice. Our agent recommends acceptance of withdrawal request.
So moved.
Thank you, Steve. Is there a second? Motion made and seconded for the withdrawal. Is there any discussion, comments? Going none? I'll take the vote, see, yes, Marjorie.
Yes.
Sandy.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes.
I vote yes as well. 5-0. I call the 642 hearing, 53 Bluff Ave, Lorraine G. McBride, proposed additions to a single-family dwelling, representative is Marsh Matters Environmental. This is a notice of intent continued from December 7th, 2023, and January 25th, 2024. Applicant is requesting a continue to April 18th at 6:30. And as a reminder, this is their third continuance request. So, there's no reason listed here as to why
So I
that.
can speak to that. So basically, Mike, Marsh Matters, Mike Ball, the representative, is trying to correspond with the homeowners. There's a lot of indecision as far as how they want to proceed. It's kind of as best as it kind of get everybody on the same page, and that's why he's requesting for additional time. He said, you know, if it comes down to a withdrawal, that's what they'll eventually do, but he's asking for one more consideration of a continuance. It's what matters now between the homeowner and the consultant and the engineer, who's not on the same page.
Okay, so there you have it.
Okay,
I'll accept the motion.
Take a motion for 53 Bluff Ave, continuance to April 18th at 6:30 P.M.
Thank you, Steve. See you. Thank you.
Fine, whatever. I don't care. We're done here.
Must be that course you're taking.
I should try to keep it consistent.
Motion made and seconded for the continuance. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Steve?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Sandy? Sandy?
I'm sorry, no.
Are you voting?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I vote yes, as well.
We're all, yeah, right.
Yes, as well, 5-0. Unanimous. Now calling the 645 hearing for 17 Monomoskoye Road West. We are at pronounce that right. Maria D. and Lena C. St. John trustees. Maria St. John Trust proposed raise and replace of a single-family dwelling. IA septic upgrade, attached garage, landscaping, hardscaping, mitigation, plantings. Representative is Falmouth Engineering. Notice of intent 433265. We have a request on this hearing for a continuance to March 21st at 6:48.
So moved.
Thank you, Steve.
second.
Martin. He's going to be on that.
With that enthusiastic and I.
Very good.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Was there a reason given for it?
They have engaged with legal counsel to assist with the application.
No other questions? Roll call vote, Steve?
Yes.
Marjorie?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. 5-0. Now calling the 648 hearing for 231 Monomoskoye Road, Richard T. Jackma, trustee, RJ KW Family Revocable Trust. Proposed addition to a single-family dwelling, including deck. Representative is the owner. This is a request for determination of applicability.
This is Rich Jackman.
Good evening, sir. We met the other day
Yes,
at your front door.
correct. Oh,
Yes.
and you,
How are you?
good,
Good.
I think.
Would you like to tell us about your project? Kind of fill us in with what's going on here?
What we'd like to do is to put in approximately 400 square foot extension out the back of our house, deleting the bedroom that's there and having this as our master suite. So it would include a closet and a bathroom. It's the same height as the rest of the house. There's no finished basement underneath it. And
There is or there is no?
it will not be.
There will not be.
No, no. And yeah, that's it in a nutshell. I mean, I can answer questions, I guess. I wasn't prepared for a presentation.
Well, I'm sure they'll, if they have questions, they'll
Sure.
jump right on it.
I mean,
Great.
there are no trees being cut down. There's no bushes you saw. There's not much lawn. You could call it lawn, but it's just, a cake lawn.
Which we're proud of. It's not all green, just saying.
The house has been in the family my father built it in 1981 and we inherited it after he died in 2012. And I've been on the island as a summer resident since 1955.
Well,
Are you still a summer resident? I'm just.
No, we
curious.
retired. We retired 2 years ago. So we're
Oh,
full time.
congratulations. Yay.
okay, questions from commissioners? Steve, I'll start with you.
Yeah, only question is, because I looked online, the whole property is in flood zone, but I see the flood zone line too. I think Drew mentioned his comment, so that was my question. Is the whole property in the flood zone or is
Well,
it?
I think what's going on is all in the flood zone, isn't it? Or it's,
I mean, that's the reason why you're putting flood vents in, because the whole property is in flood zone, so that line is just there for, based on mapping, is that?
I think that was a previous setbacks or something that we had. I'm not an engineer, I don't, but I do know that the whole island is coded as wetlands,
Flood zone.
flood zone.
Most of it is.
So what's do you have, any photos of the house?
This is the property here.
Okay,
Right, and we,
hooking it back with that single window and that 4 pane window.
Yeah.
right, the single window below is basement, is a garage, right, is the back end of our garage. And it's the window above the 4 panes.
The 4 pane is where you're gonna have the addition.
Exactly.
Okay, so. Okay, so then so you're gonna have the floor level is gonna be roughly where that deck
Where the
is. So
deck
you're
is.
gonna have like a 4-foot high crawl space underneath there.
Correct.
With flood vents, okay.
Yeah.
Slab with the slab on, okay. Yeah, all right, yeah, and there's really nothing to be disturbed, it just kicked out on, so. Okay, so, all the questions I have.
The only question I have is on the square footage. It is what now and what you're going to?
We're adding an additional 406 square feet.
Okay,
And it is now what, like, I don't know.
say it again.
I-
You don't know what you're at now?
I think it's 1100 maybe. 980. Isn't 26 by 30. It's done for me, yes, survey. I'm here as the land surveyor. I did the mapping. We all know that FEMA puts disclaimers on maps and they took a paintbrush. But the entire peninsula house. Bottom story. Under elevation 11, and we know there's anomalies as you go down the peninsula. And therefore I mapped it as best I could. And I can't do a Loma because they have a guideline that has to be 10 feet off the house and you can no longer use the house as one of the meets and bounds to make it elevation X because it's a garage under. I can't get the 10 feet. And short of blocking up the garage door, pouring concrete and filling the entire front of the lot. That's ridiculous. But that's how you get a Loma test. And that's how we could take the entire chunk of this property out of the AU zone. Elevation DFB 11. That's not gonna happen. Sorry, the question was what is the square feet? So it's around 1,000 square feet. Is that 26 to 988?
It's about 1,000 feet now and
988.
it's bringing on 400.
Yes.
But in the description,
I got 988
you have,
existing.
980.
okay,
There's a
980.
shed with 96 square feet of roofing though. 8 by 10.
Are you toying with me?
Nothing on the town roof there.
I'm trying to figure out, it appears as though, but I don't see specifications on the septic. So there's
The
no,
existing septic is staying.
and it's a Title V.
Inspected, yeah.
Yeah,
Been approved. Been approved, it's on file.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I'll say.
1394 square feet, is that correct? We had 988 on the house and 406 still.
Let's do it.
Right.
1394, yeah. 1394. Oh, 96 on the shed, that's up. About 28% increase.
And you're gonna excavate to a 4-foot depth for frost.
Correct.
Where's all the dirt going?
The surplus would be removed from the site and the required backfill will be stored on site.
And the house itself, where that footprint is for the addition, is that the 12-foot contour? Is that what you're saying? It's not 11, it's 12?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So what's the height of the floor of the bedroom? It's a good foot above that or more.
That's four.
Top of foundation is about a foot above that. So
Okay,
that would
so
be
you're well
elevation
up, high
13.
enough for the building.
Yeah,
You know,
To meet the existing floor
Yeah.
elevation,
Yeah.
it's an additional 4 or 5
Yeah,
feet.
the first floor is probably plus 2 feet over the least.
and would that dirt go out immediately or is that gonna be stored on the site for a while? or-
Just the required material for backfill.
Yeah.
So in the narrative here, I wrote,
Clean material. You know, that's.
Yeah, the excavation, excess material will be removed from the site, any remaining material for backfill will be stored on site in a safe manner to avoid runoff.
My concern was that when you go down, I think it's Childs Street or Road, which would have been easier for us the other day instead of parking in your driveway.
That's okay.
But I'm thinking,
Like that
once you
one.
excavate out, if we were to get, like we do get, these storms now are not regular storms, that's all gonna wash right towards Childs Road. Could we, depending on how you guys vote on this,
take it out.
could we condition some type of siltation barrier around the spoils until they're taken off the site or something? I'd be a little concerned that that's gonna turn into a mudslide during the construction.
So we could remove the material from site or contain it with like a wattle or hay bales. or
That's
something.
what I'm thinking, just to protect Childs Road there.
Sure.
Cause that does slope down in,
Yeah.
when I walked out. Like if you walk over
Okay.
towards where your septic tank is, and then you dip down to get on a Child's Road, so if you've got that all piled up. I don't think you put it on the septic, but anywhere, cause it's pretty flat there.
Yeah.
And we got a storm like we had last night, or like we get all the time now, that's just gonna go. So I'm just concerned about that.
Although Lord knows it could use a little sand down the end of the road, but
Maybe not that.
not that.
Maybe a little bit down.
Okay,
Well,
questions?
then it seems to be in order, seems to me.
No other questions? Nothing from the public? Drew, things that you would like to add? No. I guess we're set, I'll accept the motion.
Chairman, make a negative determination for RDA for 231 Longwell Road with the condition to any construction soil and sand to be stored on site to be held in with siltation fence or hay bales until such soil is totally removed.
Second,
Each other.
I got a notch.
Motion made, seconded. Any further discussion from its commissioners? Hearing none?
Yes.
Roger?
Yeah.
Sandy?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
I'm gonna vote no. But the motion carries.
This is
4-1.
my pattern, Mr. Chairman, you're making me curious.
Motion carries 4-1. Negative determination with, so, carries.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, okay, good, thank you.
Thanks to the conservation department with your. Bye now.
Bye.
Now calling the 651 hearing for 3780 Brown Road, Downey W. Anderson. Proposed raise, replace, and maintain a single-family dwelling with detached garage, furnishes, new septic system, new elevated boardwalk, float, and ramp. Representative is Cape and Islands Engineering. This is a notice of intent, DEP file number 433272. Again?
Yes, Chuck Rolla, Cape and Islands Engineering. I'm representing Brian Anderson here, who is the owner of 37 Amy Brown Road. It's a little bit more involved project here, but I'll try to go through it as quickly as I can. So the proposed raise and replace of the existing single-family home and construction and maintaining new family home with addition, portion of the septic garage, appurtenances will occur within the conservation jurisdiction. The proposed boardwalk ramp and floor replacement will be on the BVW. Freshwater wetland BVW, salt marsh, land under ocean, land subject to tidal action, land subject to coastal storm foliage, and associated Great River. And then so the boardwalk replacement involves the replacement of the existing on-the-ground wooden plank boardwalk with an elevated 3-foot wide boardwalk set on 4 posts. Post posts will be driven a minimum of 6 feet. Timber construction will be non-leaching preservatives. And the deck planking will be through flow composite decking to achieve 65% sunlight penetration. The decking will provide 4.5 feet of clearance of the salt marsh. Access stairs will be constructed from the shore to the elevated boardwalk. Lateral stairs will be installed and signed for pedestrian access along the shoreline. The existing 8 by 16 foot float will be replaced in kind and fixed to 4 new 10-inch diameter posts. And a float material associated with the new float lines will be encapsulated as per conservation requirements. During construction, the existing posts will be removed. A new ramp will be replace the existing wooden ramp connecting to the boardwalk float. And the float will be stored at an upland location during the winter season. And then the existing single-family home will be rebuilt on the existing foundation with 2 additions. We have new gravel driveway, decking, landscaping, dry wells, utilities. So the existing shed and a portion of the existing gravel driveway will be removed. The existing septic system will be removed, and a new nitrogen microfast system will be installed. So generally, we are keeping the existing foundation, adding some more space on the landward side out of the 50-foot buffer. And then we have the proposed garage. And then way far away along the New Brown Road, we have the leach field as well as the nitro fast system. So I know that this is a little bit more involved project. And I had some comments about the path and the mitigation, but I'm happy to discuss all of that with the questions.
Okay. I'll go to the change first. The question, what you want.
So Chuck, I'll start with the pier.
Yeah.
So, yeah, looking at the photographs and seeing it, yeah, definitely not the speed, but. So you said your methodologies starting from landward. So how are the posts gonna be driven at 6 feet? How's that going?
So they'll be starting, they're not gonna be jetting, so they're gonna be using a post hole digger and mechanically removing any material, using material, from the digging for the new posts to, fill any holes in from the, posts that are getting removed. And then if they can't make it 6 feet, they can use a vibratory hammer, they make small compact ones that they can carry down. They won't be.
So they won't be actually, so they're gonna be removing and building at the same time?
I'm gonna leave the actual like timing of building and removing up to the contractor. If you guys have a preference, obviously we can. I'm happy to.
Well, I'm just worried about the damage to salt marsh and saying, okay, now you're gonna take out what's there, which is into pigment chambers for the salt marsh and the water, and then now you're gonna drive, you know, so many posts for that whole length. It's 255 feet is the longest leg of that. It's like, okay, how many posts is that, and what's the spacing on the post? And, you know, is that something that they're gonna build a section, and, you know. I mean, obviously, they're gonna have to stand in for the marsh, or, you know, walk through the marsh and.
So as of right now, there's a pathway to the marsh. The end of the float is in pretty severe disrepair. Some of the boards are there and they, you know, touch the ground, as you walk on it. So, that's a good point. If you would rather see, section by section move, so that way as, you know, people can be standing on the existing posts as it's being built out, we can definitely have a methodology that shows that.
Yeah, I think a little more detail on that, because, yeah, I can see it, later. This, here, it's, you know, here it is, I assume this picture's taken somewhere around low tide. And then you can see where the boards is going to, it looks like a couple 4x4s holding a section every, 10, 12 feet, you know, photo. Yeah, so I'm saying, okay, well, if you're gonna take that out, you have to walk into that mud and you get disturbed on that. Marsh, that's what it looks like.
Are they being replaced the same width or wider?
We're going, that's like about 2 feet,
Yeah,
so we're
it's
going
storms
about
that we
3
had to
feet,
do.
but then we're also going at 4.5 feet, so we're gonna be meeting the, NHESP recommendations that usually come down from Chapter 91 applications, so we are gonna have the 1.5 to 1 horizontal to vertical separation. We feel it's a pretty drastic improvement over the existing.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
So will there be disturbance?
How could it not?
Will there be just some temporary disturbance to the site? I think the temporary disturbance to the site is severely less than the overall existing condition and the way that the salt marsh will improve over time to get some light under it. We also have the light penetration grading on top, so.
Yeah, that's all good. I just worry about the construction part of it, you know, how that's gonna be handled, and, you know, to minimize damage to the marsh. And you know, how, you know, if people can stand in it, you know, if you're gonna say, you know, if you're digging with a hammer post hole, you're standing. Because a lot, or if they said a vibratory hammer, you need to stand somewhere on the platform to push down the post, because you say, you know, what's the, you have the height, cross section.
Well, it should be 4.5 feet.
Yeah, you have 4.5 feet to the bottom of the joist.
Right.
And these posts are, and then you have another, say, another foot for the joist and the decking, and then another 3 feet. So there's 4, there's 8.5, and then you go 6. So you're talking about a 14 to 15 foot post.
Yep.
Trying to be driven in. So unless you're gonna drive the post in and then, you know, to beam and then do a shorter post around, but even then, that's still 8 and 9. So, you know, I think we need a little more detail on construction methodology. to minimize damage to the marsh.
Okay.
You know, this is all good, yeah, this is 100% improvement over what's there, I just worry about, 255 feet plus that short leg. Yeah, you can probably come in with, maybe do something from a small barge or something, yeah, if you can get in, it's hardly any water, yeah, but then this whole leg.
So getting the posts to the end are gonna have to be from a barge, and it's gonna have to be in a short amount of time at high tide, because these are all in mean low water, so you can have 2 people in high tide, so. If they need, an hour per post, and they can come in for, a couple hours, do it at one high tide, bring the barge out, so it doesn't bottom out. And then bring it back in, so.
Yeah, for that end of it.
And obviously the rest of it, it's manual labor. So if you'd like to condition that we have to be going section by section and using the existing piers, kind of a working platform. We'll know that.
All right, so I answered those questions. Then, try to see the mitigation for the new construction, and that includes the various structures proposed. But then I see a number of trees, some of the trees that are coming out around where the proposed garage is there any plan to put any additional trees in that area? So, looks like there's a few oaks or pines that are coming out.
So that's definitely a good question. Yes, to build the garage, we will have to remove some of the trees. We're obviously amenable to planting other trees. Would you like them in a similar area? We can keep them in the buffer zone.
I had a suggestion on that, because by my count, it's 5 total trees that would likely be removed for the garage and driveway. But down here, you've got this mitigation here, which is fine. It's certainly needed in that area, but you've also got a very wide path. And based on our regulations for pathways through naturally vegetated areas or buffer strips, this shouldn't be wider than 4 feet. I mean, obviously, this is just a pre-existing condition. It's not a violation or anything. But this would be a good candidate area to mitigate for the loss of these trees, to close off this pathway, not close it off, but get it more into compliance with our 4-foot standard.
Okay.
So you could propose some shrubs down here, maybe a mix of shrubs and trees. Nothing that's going to cause any trees that will cause future issues to the home, but this would be a good candidate area for additional mitigation for the loss of those trees. Recommendation.
All I have to do.
So I just have a question of Steve. So did you want to put in something about a requirement? I thought I heard you say for the 5 trees, is it for the 5 trees that you're concerned, and then you wanted to put in a mitigation or?
Yeah, just like what Drew mentioned down in that area, that path is pretty wide to put some trees and mitigate that area. Yeah, that would.
And that's the only thing that you were concerned about, if that's included in the
Well, that. and
conditions.
The
That's what I was
construction
there for.
methods for the dock, for the walkway, for the whole board.
Wouldn't that require though? To go do it and come back? I'm just trying to clarify.
Maybe, yeah.
But I defer to you on construction.
Yeah, it's just like, the whole new dock and everything makes perfect sense to me, and I understand it, and it's great. I just saying, how is that gonna be constructed? And that's where I think the details are light. At the moment.
Okay.
I understand what Chuck said,
Yeah,
but
I'm happy to go as far down that rabbit hole as you guys really want me to, but the problem is that I'm just an engineer. I don't build docks. And so I like to have input from actually who's building it to say, hey, this is how I best cause the least disturbance to sites. So like if I start telling
one dock builder how to do it, he gets awarded it, he's like, you know that that's like, I have a better way, or this, that, and the other, so I try not to come up with ways as to how builders build their docks, so I try to have some, like, in other towns, a lot of times they say you have to provide a pre-construction protocol that reduces impacts to salt marshes and, you know, that's usually how I try to have that handled, but if you would rather see us write something up beforehand, then we're obviously amenable to that too. And obviously those have to get approved by Drew, so we can do like, figure out, you got do better, and so it kind of gives more power to Drew to kind of hold contractors responsible for their own work.
Yeah, I just seen on occasions where we've issued order conditions, and some contractors don't pay attention, and we have, like Paul had mentioned in the previous one, a big rainstorm, we get all types of erosion. There was one recently where there was erosion in the old bulkhead gave way because it was an old bulkhead, you know, emergency order. So, you know, something like that, but I was thinking, if, you know, 255 feet is a fairly long distance, a lot of work, you know, across the flat marsh, and say, okay, maybe it behooves us to talk to whoever's going to construct it and say, okay, what's your method? How are we going to minimize damage? So all of us as a commission, Andrew and Dan know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, prior to submission, you know, you can submit it to these guys, but then we're left out of the loop on that.
Right, okay.
You know, so that might be worth saying, okay, let's do a continuance to supply that, or, you know, to come back and say, oh, here's the method. Do we all agree with that method? I don't know what the other commissioners feel, or you and Dan feel about that.
Well, I follow your lead. He knows your stuff.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I just had a question about, this project is in ACEC.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we know if this present dock was ever permitted? I think it says it wasn't.
So it was, it did receive some local approvals, and we have to go through chapter 91, which talking to Brendan, we've submitted the proof that this has existed since before, it's either before the existence of the ACEC or for a specific date, and Brendan is the regulator for chapter 91. He always agreed that enough proof has been issued to move forward with the chapter 91 once we receive the order of conditions from you guys. So I have a letter from the harbor master, I think, from the early 80s, saying that it was in existence that month.
So 1979. You know, would it have to be prior to 1979?
I can't remember the date.
November 26th, 1979.
Is when the existence of the
That's when the
ACEC.
ACEC was designated. So anything prior to 79, November 26th is grandfathered. But anything after November 26, 79 is not. So if this dock went in the 80s, it's grandfathered locally for Mashpee,
Right.
but not for ACEC.
Well,
That was gonna be my question. I
Yeah.
don't see how we can approve any work if they're not grandfathered through ACEC. So chapter 91, that we're working on that, we have to make that determination. And then we go from there.
I can send you the.
I was looking at our own regulations and, you know, we have under regulation 27.3 grandfathered unpermitted docks. And this meets the criteria, at least the boardwalk. I know in your narrative, it stated that the ramp and the float were not in there prior to the cutoff date for Mashpee's grandfathering. But I don't know if any of it was there prior to November 26 or 7. The house itself on the assessment card was built in 81, so it's highly unlikely that it was there before the house was built. I mean, maybe it was, but I don't know. But the burden of proof would be on, for that.
Yeah, so I'm happy to send you the research that I have and the regulations. We felt that we met the requirements of the ACEC, so I'm happy to get that to you.
And what I read, unless it's verified that they're in before that date.
I had a later date, that if it was in before a later date, although it is, after the, establishment of the ACEC. But
Yeah,
like I
well,
said, I'm happy to,
well, it was when these things started.
I'm happy to get you all that information.
Well, you wanted to have more information on the work itself for the boardwalk
Yeah.
anyways. And then we've got this piece that needs to get clarified. I didn't have any questions on, I did have one question on the house itself. When I was over there, there's two good size, cedars that I think are coming out, but I couldn't locate those or any of the plans. It's on the
Nearby
back
the,
side of the
um,
house where the utilities are. There's two good sized cedar trees. You also those through there, but if you look at the pads that are in that
They
little
don't show
jog
on-
between the existing garage and the house itself.
So which,
Right by the deck. Right, in that big white area where the air conditioning is right
Yeah,
there.
they're right in there. Two big cedars.
right here.
Okay, and those are staying?
Yeah, there's no proposed work.
No proposed work there.
The only work I have shown there is the drainage and, I'm happy to call out on the plan that the drainage will not disturb the existing vegetation.
And it's not our purview, but I'm curious anyway, is that a shared driveway with the next door neighbor? It was, see where that gravel driveway is coming out of the new garage? It's going into, is that going into somebody else?
Right now, this is a shared driveway here.
Right,
As you can see, the lot line for this lot is right here. These people, their only access to this house and the garage, which is located right here,
right,
the house is down there, is this driveway.
okay. I thought that was their driveway, but, so it's shared.
They might have also, and I proposed that we
Right.
do an actual easement. 'Cause
Yeah, that, you
There's
know,
never been one.
because if somebody else came in and bought it, they might say, I don't want you using this, you know.
Well, I mean, I
Yeah,
don't
it's not our
know.
purview, but I was looking at it when I was there the other day, but why is it going over there? Why doesn't it go out? Where you come in on the other side. Anyways. Other questions?
No,
No? Public? Nobody? Any questions? Drew, is there anything you want to add on that we might have?
No.
Okay.
So just to review, work protocol. For, reducing impacts of the salt marsh goes here. And then, ACEC.
And additional mitigation for the loss of trees.
Did you get the letter from Marine Fisheries? I don't think so. Okay. They sent it today. So they have comments on recommendations when it comes to salt marsh restoration. I'll just read it into the record. So they offer the following comments for your consideration. A depressed area in salt marsh habitat could pool water. Planting plugs in substrate at a lower elevation than the marsh platform could inhibit planting success. If a depression in the sediment is present on the existing boardwalk, Mass DMF recommends adding substrate, then regrading the area to match the elevation of the marsh platform prior to planting plugs. Then grounded floats can disturb bottom sediments, resulting in turbidity and direct impacts to benthic habitat. To minimize impacts, Mass DMF recommends that the bottom of the float be proposed at least 1.5 feet or 18 inches above the substrate over the marine habitat at mean low water. The float stops as proposed would not maintain this minimum clearance at mean low water. Mass DMF recommends installing float stops to maintain a 1.5 foot clearance above the substrate at mean low water. And then additional comments about the barge and high tide timing for that, the use of the barge. And then additional recommendations on controlling any potential fuel spills. Related equipment. We can do that. Yeah.
And Drew, could you send that out to everybody? You know, a copy of that for our files.
You can send that to us.
Sure.
Well, you were in touch. Was that copies?
No.
Yeah.
Steve,
That it? That's shopping list?
if that's your shopping list, I think I can handle
Okay.
All right, Chairman, gonna make a motion.
Yeah.
For continuance for 37 Amy Brown Road. For the items that we discussed, ACEC. Issues when the boardwalk was constructed, construction of methodology of the boardwalk, additional trees for mitigation and addressing the letter from marine fisheries.
I don't recommend March 21st.
Maybe March 22nd, because it'd be like after midnight.
March 21st.
that. I think that, Mark has a bunch of projects that he can continue to that day. I think I'll be able to join those. So,
Okay,
yeah, that's fine.
okay, see you on April 4th at 6:51.
You all right with that process?
I won't be here on April 4th, I know that. Alex is be chairing that meeting. I'm out of the country.
Hope he goes somewhere fun.
What's that?
I said, I hope he goes somewhere fun.
I do too. If you're not ready for the 4th with ACEC, I don't know how long that's gonna take.
I have all the research and I have.
Okay. I could try to zoom in, but
It's been pretty, from my perspective, it's been pretty vetted, so.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's up to you guys.
so.
And you guys wanted a week before.
We could do the April 4th or 10,
6:51.
6:51.
And what would be, what's the filing date for April 4th? So at least I get to see the information before.
Oh, that would be, pull up my calendar. So the Friday prior to that, that's when
Board is Thursday.
So 29th,
Okay.
29th.
March 29th. Oh,
I'd get a chance to see it all. Okay. Any further discussion? Motion made and seconded.
The second of the motion.
Aaron. More other discussion?
Yeah, no,
Roll call vote, Steve.
Yes.
Marjorie.
yes, so,
Sandy.
Yes.
Aaron.
yes.
And I vote yes as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Moving right along. Now calling the 6:54 hearing for 104 Lakewood Drive, Mark Bannon, proposed raise and replace the single family dwelling, site cleanup, replacement of walkover structure and seasonal clear system, representative ESC Group, owners of record John J. and Deborah A. Marches. Notice of intent 4332773. Applicant is requesting a continuance to April 4th at 6:48 to address comments from NHESP Natural Heritage.
So moved.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Aaron. Motion made and seconded for the continuance to April 4th. Any discussion? Hearing none, Steve?
Yes.
Marjorie?
Yeah,
Sandy?
Yes.
Aaron?
yes.
And I vote yes as well. Now calling the 6:57 hearing for 236 Wheeler Road, Steve P. Craig. Proposed reconstruction of retaining wall, construction of elevated boardwalk, invasive species removal, restoration of native habitat, and facility maintenance in perpetuity. Representative is Environmental Landscaping Solutions, Inc. This is a notice of intent 433274. And do we have somebody on the line? for this?
Yes, Tyler Gaudreau from Environmental Landscape Solutions.
Good evening, sir. Can you hear us all right?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
We can. The floor is
Great.
yours.
All right, good evening. Tyler Goudreau, Environmental Landscape Solutions, representing the applicant Stephen Dupree for the proposed work at 236 Wheeler Road. The existing site contains an existing set of timber stairs on the northern portion within the England Bank, an existing failing timber retaining wall, and a small beach area above the retaining wall. We're proposing to remove the existing set of timber stairs and replace it with an elevated boardwalk. The elevated boardwalk is a timber built with composite decking, and we're proposing a diamond pier construction to limit any disturbance to the inland bank. The next phase of the project is the existing timber wall is failing. So we're actually proposing a concrete block wall with proper drainage. And as part of that construction, we were going to work with the commission to do some beach nourishment in that area as well. And then lastly, we're actually proposing an 18-foot wide Vista corridor based on Mashpee's regs. And once the project's complete, we're gonna do approximately 1,745 square feet of invasive species removal and mitigation plantings. And I'll take any questions.
Thank you. Questions from commissioners?
Yeah, the first question I have is a question on that, on the, block wall. I'm seeing that how far below grade is the footing gonna be placed?
So they're typically 6-inch blocks. So we were gonna have that about halfway below grade, and then 12-inch thick pad. So you're looking at about 18 inches.
Okay, so 18 inches below grade, so it's elevation 46, it looks like, at the bottom of the wall, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and what's the, and then I see 45 on the edge of the pond, so what's the pond elevation? Yeah,
It's between 45 and 44. So it may be better to have the leveling pad set at grade and then reduce one tier of that wall.
yeah, I'm just worried about, you know, erosion there at the, if you put the pad at grade, or if you go too far below and into groundwater. You know, because you know, if you're trying to put a concrete pad there so close to the pond. Is there another method that you can use, like helical piers with a concrete grate beam? Set
Yeah,
out so not, you know, the helical piers are going down below and you're not sitting a concrete pad into, you know, groundwater or, you know, worrying about erosion.
Yeah, so helical piles could be used in lieu of the concrete pad. We just want to avoid dry laying it because, like you mentioned, any sort of wave action, we wanted to have some sort of definitive base for that. But we wouldn't be opposed to doing the helical piles.
Yeah, with a concrete grate beam.
Yep.
Across. Yeah, I was just worried about erosion there. Because that's what basically happening to the timber wall, correct?
Yeah, the difference with the timber wall is it's an old PT, so it can rot, whereas the concrete won't rot. It's also the some of the damage is due to the lack of drainage in the back there. There's actually some stone underneath, and then the sand on the top, which is washed away. So I think with a geotextile fabric, we'll be able to get the proper drainage in there, and then with a hard surface, we won't have any issues with maintenance in the future. Whereas if we replaced it with timbers, we'd be kind of in the same boat that we are now.
Right, yeah, I understand that, that makes sense. It just, you know, with this, you know, cross section, it shows the concrete pad and then the segmented block wall. I'm just worried about that concrete pad and erosion since it's so close to the edge of the water there, you know, with either wave action or erosion in the future. So I think the helical piers with the concrete grade beam for support would be better suited for that.
Yeah,
And then, and how many diamond piers are you proposing?
so each of the corners will require them, so I believe it's 8, 12 total. The base will not require it on either end. So it'll be 4 total, or sorry, 8 total diamond piers.
Okay, so you're gonna span 15 feet on a diamond pier on the deck there? I think you're probably gonna need 6 per deck to support it.
Each of the corners.
Yeah, that's a long span.
Yes, 6, correct, yeah, so 12 total diamond piers.
Yeah. So we got 6. About 6. So all right. Answers all my questions.
Okay,
Thank you.
next week.
Thank you.
Roger.
I'm good.
You're good. Dan, Aaron?
I'm all set.
Okay. Is beach nourishment part of this, or is that going to be an after the fact to work with conservation staff?
I believe it would be at the same time of the construction of the wall. And when we met Dan on site, we also mentioned the removal of the timber steps would give us the best access to traverse the bank there. So I think we would kind of be working our way from the bottom up in construction, and Dan had mentioned just giving the conservation where we would be sourcing the material from, and just working in coordination with them.
370 square feet of that beach is what we're talking.
Yes.
So that should be a wash sand of some type. I mean, that's a good load of sand.
Yeah, it has to be washed, it has to be cleaned, it has to be
Yeah.
certified from the company.
Okay, so that should be included with conditions.
Yeah.
I don't.
The only other question I have is, once you remove the existing timber steps, are you planting that area? I didn't see a note for that.
Yeah, so the mitigation plan as we have it now is the minimum. I was talking with the client about possibly doing some additional mitigation in there as well. We'd be happy to add mitigation even in the footprint or even in some of the area. Just when we were on site, the vast majority of the invasive species is English ivy, which is pretty easily hand removed, and then we would come in and just monitor it. There actually isn't a ton over there, but we'd be happy to include some mitigation for the footprint of the steps as well.
That'd be left over square footage. We don't know what that is. No idea. So
Can you calculate out the square footage of those steps so we know what we're dealing with for additional mitigation? I mean, not right this second, but
Yeah, I'd be happy to, I could send in even just a revised plan, just with a note for the square footage of that as well.
So let me ask Drew, if we close an issue for this notice of intent, can we, condition the change in the timber walls and the plantings there? And then you just approve that when you come in, so we don't have to continue this hearing?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Right, yeah.
and we would have that as a condition so that we're not waiting on a revised plan and the 21-day clock takes down on us.
Yeah.
It would be put as the first condition, but then they can take care of it as they want, however, what time they want to. It wouldn't be issued the building permit until it's all taken care of.
Perfect. Anything else? No?
No, I don't. Another.
Okay, I'll accept the motion.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, make a motion for 236 Wheeler Road. Propose an issue. With plan as presented with the following conditions. That the existing timber stand be removed to have planting mitigation in its footprint. that be added to the plan. And then, change the wall, the footing of the wall design to a helical piers with a grade beam. And then, and then just show number of, diamond piers on the plan. So,
What about the natural heritage? Says any conditions recommended from natural heritage can be conditioned.
Yes, they changed up some plants, is what they did
Oh.
essentially, yeah, so that, but that doesn't mean,
So,
we don't need to put that in as a condition.
we would have them, they'll be added. Sand being clean, washed, not washed.
Yeah, and then all conditions to be approved by staff. Yep. Okay. When submitted.
Is there a second? Thank you, Aaron. Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Didn't miss anything, did we? Good. Roll call, Steve?
Yes.
Rodney?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yeah.
Karen?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well.
Great. Thank you all.
Thank you. Now calling the 7 o'clock hearing for Pompanesett Bay Channel, Town of Mashpee, request to extend order of conditions 433040 for 3 years. Representative is the Woods Hole Group.
No, explain anything, no.
Okay,
This one.
so you have Drew's comments before you.
Yeah, it looks like they're waiting for permitting. So,
Yeah.
make a motion to, accept the, extend the order condition for 3 additional years
Second.
for Pompanesett Bay Channel, Town of Mashpee.
And Marjorie is. Okay. Motion to extend and seconded for the discussion. This is done by the Brown program.
County Drive, yes.
What their schedule looks like. I know last year they ran way behind because of lack of help and mechanical things and went on and on and on. Have they started dredging?
I don't even know where they're at right now.
I think we were like 6, 7 months behind just on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the original one was like, 3 months or something.
Right.
Yeah.
But the Army Corps of Engineers is also so backlog, it's like,
Okay. Anything else? No? Roll call vote, Steve?
Yes.
Marjorie?
yeah,
Sandy?
Yes.
Aaron?
yes.
I vote yes as well. Motion carries. 5-0. Now calling the 703 hearing for 0 off Steeness Drive. Lucy Berry Golf Club LLC request to extend order of conditions 433117 for 3 years. Representative is the Woods Hole Group. And you have Drew's comments before you.
Yeah, let me, add some comments on top of that, or in lieu of that, actually. I had, suggested, because this is the rationale for the permit extension is to allow opportunity for additional nourishment activities, mostly in response to repeated storm damage, which this area experiences probably more so than any other stretch of coastline in Mashpee. So there's a lot of repeated nourishment there to keep the golf course intact in that area. But so I made a suggestion that, maybe instead of having them repeatedly come back for additional extension requests, that they come in with an amended order to allow for maintenance in perpetuity with stated conditions to make sure the commission maintains oversight. But in reviewing the order of conditions, there are so many requirements, particularly when it comes to rare species habitat and, piping plover monitoring, hiring shorebird monitors, I think it's actually best to be left alone and continue to request extension requests as opposed to maintenance perpetuity. So I officially rescind my recommendations. After reviewing the permit, there's just too many things that would be, required for a maintenance and perpetuity by staff to oversee, and it makes more sense to go with an extension request instead.
Right.
Same thing for the following one, the comments apply to that too.
I might add that, at the last, Environmental Oversight Committee meeting, there was a discussion about sustainability of beach nourishment at South Cape Beach, because these storms are just coming one after another. And, at some point, that sand's going somewhere else and it's gonna cause
Yeah,
something else. So I know Ashley Fisher is looking at some grant initiatives to bring some people in and take a good close look at South Cape Beach to see what alternatives there are, if any. Maybe at some point, you just can't keep up with human nature. And this is probably knocking on that same door. I imagine the sand, I see these trucks all the time.
I know.
Constant parade, and that sand's going somewhere.
It's got run over by them the other day.
Yeah.
It's so sad, to try to address it and it comes in and then,
Getting tough.
yeah.
Yeah.
It happens at, the Spit, Papaneset, like.
Yeah.
Sands in, sands out, it's like,
They won't have a motion. So just do.
well, it's also hard to explain in a 5-minute phone conversation with someone who says, where did all the sand go?
If you get it once or twice a year, you can deal with it, but these back to back to back.
No, it's bad.
You know, get in and
And they-
finish the job.
And they remove the depth of the destruction is really quite impressive.
Yeah, good.
Mother Nature's going through the change for sure.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion for Zero Oxygen Drive, Seabury Golf Club LLC for a 3-year extension of the existing order conditions.
Thank you, Steve.
Second.
God, beat you.
Thank you, Erin. She did.
Yes, she did. Well,
Photographic finish, which she
She
did.
has more
Any
experience.
further discussion?
No.
No, we're good. Roll call, Steve.
Yes.
Marjorie.
Yes.
Sandy.
Yeah.
Erin.
Yes.
I vote yes as well, 5-0. Open up the 706 hearing, Pompanesett Creek and Zero Rear Waiting Place Road, say Pompanesett Bay. Request to extend order 432928 for 5 years, Representative Woods Hole Group. And basically the same situation.
You wanna do this one, Drew, perpetuity?
No, my comment reply to this one too. But, I know this is like an unusual request to go beyond 3 years, so I did communicate to Paul that, there is a provision, it doesn't directly apply to this particular request, but there is a provision in the bylaw, I think.
It's in the bylaw, right?
Yeah, so that the commission is empowered to issue orders of conditions for beyond 3 years if you feel that it's, justified, and it's usually linked to ongoing projects that are annual. Beach nourishment, dredging, vista pruning, those sorts of things that are the same project, but, ongoing annually or, every other year, whatever the case may be. So, it doesn't, state about discretion for extension requests for 5 years, but you are empowered to issue orders of conditions for 5 years. So by virtue of that, you may feel that could apply to this scenario as well. It's not, to put it this way, it's not outside your purview, it's your discretion.
Okay.
So,
When I first saw the agenda, I thought it was a typo,
right.
because it's typically 3 years. I mean, that's state statute.
Right.
Yeah.
And what I'm still trying to understand is how can we, on the local level, have a bylaw that is less stringent than the state? I don't know how that ever got approved.
I don't know, but it did.
I know, it's on the books, but it kind of argues with 310 CMR. I mean, that's what I've always look at it.
So this is what, I mean, they probably discussed this exact example. It's one that it's just, it's already in perpetuity.
Well, they don't,
You know,
these bylaws can't get on the books unless they're legally reviewed, right? Attorney General's office
Yeah.
has to look at it and approve it. I don't know how they didn't say, wait a minute.
This could be an outlier just because it's more of an administrative issue than an actual performance standard. And maybe
Yeah.
that's the reason
Yeah.
why it probably didn't meet any resistance, because you're not talking about a performance standard, you're talking about an administrative criterion, and maybe they just don't, defer to the town or the discretion of the, respective town's commission. So what you feel is best based on the merits of the reasoning for why they're requesting 5 years as opposed to 3. That's my guess. I don't really know, but.
Well, with all that in mind.
Okay, I'll make that
I
motion.
didn't ask for public, but that was, into this.
Make a motion for Papaneset Creek and Zero Rear Waiting Place Road, Safe Papaneset Bay Inc. To extend the existing road condition for 5 years.
Thank you, Steve. Is there a second? Thank you very much. Further discussion?
Still stay on the seconds, so.
you're just not getting in here.
No further discussion. I don't think.
No.
Valid discussion, this chit chat going on. Roll call, Steve.
Yes.
Marjorie.
Yeah.
Sandy. Aaron.
Yes.
I vote yes as well.
With Billy, I apologize on behalf of all of us.
We have several COCs, every one of them have passed. In the interest of time, I won't read each one of these individually.
That would be great.
Take a question on any one of these. I know, Marjorie, you had sent in a question about duplicates on these, but they're.
I asked why we were doing them, yeah,
They're different.
The different DEP numbers.
that's what
Yeah.
who answered me? Dan, did somebody answer? Yeah.
I saw it right away and I looked, I said, wow, maybe they are, but then I saw them different. I said, no, it wasn't.
They were listed previously like as one address, and then you would see 2 different DEP numbers in
Yeah.
parentheses. I think it's better just to separate it out so you're fully aware that there are
If you go back
2
and
different
check.
DEP numbers,
Yeah.
as opposed to putting all that information in one sentence.
I'm just sort of anal about that stuff, so thank you for
Yeah.
indulging in me.
Check Marjorie, this is very late at night.
I do. Say, what the hell? I already thought it.
So we're good with all of those.
Yeah, very good.
Going back to the pre and post hearing items. First one is the endorsement of interested candidates for the Conservation Commission, Russ Wilcox, Sarah Thornbrook. Wow, I had a hard time with her last name.
Brown, yeah, you pronounce the G.
Brook.
Yeah.
And all of the evaluations came in, I believe.
Yes, I'm just waiting on Steve's for Sarah.
Oh, yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
So Russ is already sent to the TM's office, and then once they get yours, I'll send it right off to Sarah's.
Okay. I'll do that Tuesday.
Please do.
Your tardiness prevents me from related. So I'm grateful.
So before we, before I call for a vote on these, after listening to both candidates, they both applied. I feel personally that one is much more qualified than the other in terms of their environmental background. There's one full-time position, and I think there's 3 vacancies for associates. So I don't know if the other wants to remain in the pool as an associate candidate, but my thought is that Sarah was, her background was stellar.
Yeah, I did too.
I did ask both candidates. The question that I posed was the training issue at NACC.
Right.
Fundamentals program, and they're both very wide open to taking that. But I just saw Sarah as a better qualified candidate. But
But what's the process? Then with, among us, we say hypothetically, let's propose A to get the, full-time position and the B named it, is it advisory, do we call them?
associate.
Associate.
So we have technically, we have 4 vacancies and we have 2 applicants, so I would say we should vote to endorse one of the applicants for the full-time position and the other one for the associate position. And if that other person wanted, full-time, didn't want associate, maybe they would withdraw, I don't know.
No.
Who knows?
We'll find out when that happens.
I'm thinking that's probably, organizationally the way to do it. So, I would call for a motion. Yes, I would accept the motion for Sarah Thorne for the full-time position to endorse her. And I'll take a roll call vote on that. Steve?
Yes.
Marjorie?
Yes.
Sam?
Wait, you got a second motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do I make a motion or?
No,
Oh, I second it?
okay, you're looking for a motion.
I was looking for the
Oh,
motion.
So,
Right, good.
Take a motion for Sarah Thornburg for a full-time member on the conservation. Commission.
Can I second it?
Okay, so that was Steve.
Because I'm so worried about democracy. I'm obsessed.
No further discussion on that? Take a vote, Steve.
Yes.
Marjorie.
Yes.
Sam.
Yeah.
And. Okay, so that one will go forward to the, we'll get this vote. That'll go forward to, the select board. Don't know when, but
I just got submitted a form to them,
whenever they want to.
so I'll do that.
You'll just sign it. Just-
It will not be this Monday. That's what they told me.
It will not be what?
It will not be
Oh.
this Monday. They've already set their agenda.
They're good.
Oh, that's fine.
Now, on the next candidate, some of you were not.
I was not,
Involved
I
with
don't
that.
feel as though I.
No, I wasn't here.
Right, so-
You weren't, and, but Sandy, you were there, right? Steve, you were there?
Yeah.
And I was there. All right, so those would be the people voting on this candidate, and so that would be and accept a motion for Russ Wilcox to go forward, be endorsed for associate.
So moved.
Steve? Second. Thank you, Steve.
Oh, wait a
I
second.
got it for the call.
1, 2 on this, and,
So Steve, the 2 RDAs, yes,
and,
Okay.
any discussion among the 3 of us on that? None? Roll call vote, Steve?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well.
Yeah.
As a follow-up, like you guys probably know, select board policy 001, both of these candidates would be asked to attend, the select board meeting, and they're the ones that make the decision, not us. We just do the interview and recommendations. And, they'll make the decision based on whatever criteria they're going to use, whether they want to accept a candidate, reject a candidate, or not. They do it good. Okay.
So is the commission okay with us as staff creating a memo for the town manager's office for selection? Until the.
Yeah.
Yeah, the recommendations.
That'd be great. And if you just send me a copy of that so that I can look up in my record.
That's my clear, that's 2.
Yes,
So we have a draft letter for the Pompanesett Beach Association.
we have a draft letter from the Pompanesett Peace Association responding to their, and I'll take a look at that. And then, the same with this letter and it goes out with commission's name on it. Take a look.
And I have a question about, policy for being on the commission, like, do I have to come off commission once I
Oh,
know
is it that
all
one?
property?
Yeah, once you're official.
You know what? I didn't do it on the other because
That's when, yeah, but as long as.
Living somewhere else and I own the property still.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I'm still.
whatever. So it's, you have to be a resident of the town.
Resident, okay.
So if you're maintain your primary residence, but you're living in another town, you still qualify to stay on.
Right.
But that has to be your designated primary, residence. It doesn't matter if you stay there or not, it's just. Has to be your primary residence.
What does that mean?
It's a little confusing because
Yeah,
there are towns that have no residency requirements. You-
right.
Theoretically, according to the Conservation Commission Act of 1957, you don't have to be a resident of the community.
That's what I
But
thought.
Mashpee does require, it.
Yeah.
That's their prerogative.
Yeah, we don't
And
have
I
to
think they
do
make
it.
the judgment of the voting,
Makes sense.
registered voter.
Registered voter.
Because when I first
For, yeah.
applied, I couldn't go on because I was living in Leominster, and I wasn't a registered voter here.
Well, we don't really like Leominster.
So if I stay,
I'm
I
kidding.
stay primary.
I love Leominster, actually.
Okay, moving along, because I promised, right?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Get this done.
Thank you, thank you. That matters.
Approval of meeting minutes. I
Right,
know
you
that
skip
those-
over the quarterly meetings.
Oh, I'm sorry.
CA quarterly meetings.
Quarterly meetings, conservation meetings without public hearings to address submitted agenda items, vote to amend the 2024 meeting schedule. We had discussed this at our last meeting, talking about things that we typically don't get to because it gets so late in the evening. And everybody that was at our last meeting seemed pretty favorable to doing this on a quarterly basis. You know, find sometimes where every once in a while, we don't have a meeting, you know, we go like 3 weeks rather than the 2. I looked ahead on our calendar and the best combination I could come up with for at least 3 of these meetings would be May 2nd, August 15th, and November 7th.
Is that, you know,
May 2nd,
okay, 5-2.
5-2, 8-15, and 11-7. But, you know, I'm just throwing that out there as a suggestion. I thought it would be, trying to change this to a different night is like a nickel and a haystack because all the rooms are being used.
That's right.
And if we're gonna have meetings that aren't dealing with hearings, we may get a lot of public to come in. They may have issues to talk about and be concerned about, and it's an opportunity for us to do a little outreach, some educational type of things, pretty good. And, I know you had sent out the thing about the training, and I wasn't on board with that because we have a training opportunity. I know, Aaron, you've done it. Sandy's in the course now. I've taken pretty much every one of them before they had them virtually, you know, I did it. years
Which one
ago.
is this that's coming up, Paul?
Which one is
Which training session? I think I've taken them both.
the MACC annual conference is coming up? That's Saturday, right?
Yes.
This coming Saturday. And do they still do courses there on that
Yeah.
day? They do?
Yeah. The one I made is in person only this year.
Right.
Oh,
Complete the whole series.
which one is it?
I don't even know, but it's the one that I can't do online.
You know,
So close.
Aw,
and sometimes when you want to grab one, it's not available.
Right. Try to get it this year.
But you're in one now, right?
Yeah, and I may send up one for the end of the month to check the date.
Yeah, they have some really good stuff. They did years ago, and they did it even better now.
But is there one special one that Dan sent us that we're supposed to be considering? Just so that my feeble brain doesn't
Oh, we did a while
sort of do
ago.
a checkup. You didn't say a reminder, we really want you to do ABC.
The MACC ones,
Might have just been
We
like
just meant
one of the
general.
classes.
Yeah,
And what is
And
something that,
they have a fundamentals program, and there's X numbers of required ones, and then there's
Five.
3 electives, right?
yeah.
5 required, 3 elected.
And the town reimburses on the tuition, they don't on the books, right? Or materials, or do they?
The books and materials.
I
It's
think they
electronic, it's
should.
only,
Yeah,
it's
it's all
optional for 1 year, the one that I took out, because it said you needed it for
Yeah,
something,
you
yeah,
have access.
yeah, and it's only for a
The
year.
IDA.
But it's,
It's all online.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's all online.
You have to have a membership to get access.
Yeah, and
You're all,
only-
you're all members.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and it's only been paid for it, and then it's only for a year, we can get to go in to do it. Yeah,
Oh, because the town.
well, I submitted it,
Oh.
but Stacy wasn't sure that they,
Oh, okay.
and she was curious why they charged the tax. I said,
All right, so we need a
I don't
vote
care
for
about
the,
the
to
dollar.
amend the 2024 meeting schedule to add 3 additional meetings in.
Yeah, I couldn't come up with a
Are you
fourth
gonna
one.
send
We
us
hit the
something?
holidays and they get
Yeah.
crazy and all that, well, we can always, I'd love to make a new calendar in January.
August 15th is Dan, because that's my birthday, and I'm not special.
Oh.
Sorry, Dan. All right, I'll try to be here.
August.
And again, they're just suggestions. I looked at the calendar to try to find that 3-week hole, so we're not coming like back to back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah, that
that's
makes
what I come
sense.
up with. And I wanted to stay with Thursday because the rooms are available.
What are we gonna get out of this room? I love it, but it's too tiny.
So these would just be discussion on a whole bunch of other items that you guys want to talk about. and
Yeah, you
Things like that.
submit something for the agenda and we'll review it.
Okay,
and
so
I'll
no
finalize
public
it.
hearing, it's just
No
more.
hearings,
No more.
no hearings,
No
just
more other details. Okay.
Just stuff.
good stuff.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to amend the 2024 meeting schedule to add in those 3 dates, which is May 2nd, August 15th, and November 7th. I probably won't be here for November 7th, but that's on a Sunday.
We'll get as many as we can.
Yeah, and for, I'll call them quarterly meetings to discuss internal items for conservation commission.
Submitted agenda items without hearings.
Yeah.
Same time, 6:30.
I believe 6, yeah, 6:30 would work. Don't you want to go a little earlier?
Yeah, earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely prefer 4:30.
Working hours. What do we say, 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock, yeah.
Six is fine, but if you wanna say 4:30 and then we can go out for something to eat at 99, that wouldn't be a bad.
So the quarterly meeting would be 6.
6 P.M. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Steve motion that, I don't know if we've got a second.
No,
Second. Can I be a standing
So we have a
second?
motion to Steve,
Standing second. I'm just-
and those are the dates, 5, 15, 11, 7, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Too close. Okay, any further discussion? Submitted agenda items ahead of time? No?
No, you don't have to.
Roll call vote, Steve,
Yes.
Marjorie,
Yes, sir.
Sandy,
Yeah.
Aaron,
Yeah.
and I vote yes as well. So have some extra meetings. Okay, good.
So for the first agenda item, I'd like to suggest that when we close the doors, Paul has to explain when he votes no. I want to know why. I don't know why you don't tell us ahead of time, so that I want to know. And I think we have a right to know in a closed door session.
I think, we'll be talking a lot about those issues in these quarterly meetings.
Okay. All right, so we have, meeting minutes next, right? Well, I'm helping you.
You know, I had to leave some guys.
So we have, meeting minutes from January 26th of 2023. So it's Paul, Marjorie, and Aaron voting on that 3 out of 5. Because Brian Whedon and Charlie Dahlman are no longer on the commission.
They were very well written.
Right. Okay. So that's the motion,
Except,
That's, well,
motion to accept.
yeah,
second.
I'm just announcing.
Okay.
So,
All right, so then either Aaron or Marjorie would make the motion.
Well, of course, I'm the standing second.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of
Okay,
January
so-
26th, 2023.
Motion in those
Thank you.
minutes, if you voted on them,
And I second.
and Marjorie was going to second. All right. Any discussion amongst the 3 of us? I thought
Excellent minutes.
they're okay. The intern is back with us. Kind of nice.
Good.
Okay, then I'll take a vote.
Okay.
Marjorie?
Yeah.
Aaron?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. So those minutes are in. And then we have the minutes for February 9th of 2023. That's the one that we met early with all the water quality issues. I've read through those and they seem to be fine. Who were the?
I don't think I-
so it'll be you, Paul, Alex is not here, Brian's gone, Marjorie, Aaron, myself, and Charlie Dahlman. So,
Okay. All right,
so I make a motion to accept the minutes from February 9th, 2023.
Second.
and Steve is first and Aaron is second. Okay. So, no further discussion on those minutes? We're all good with that? All right, roll call vote. Steve?
Yes.
Marjorie?
Yeah.
Aaron?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well, so it's 4-6. So those minutes are in.
Okay.
Then we have all the updates. I don't know, I know there's got a lot of comments on these, if there's anything that you want to elaborate on, or you guys have questions on any of, mostly carry from the meeting, but
Yeah, no, there's nothing really unless anyone has any questions on any of the updates. Local comprehensive plan, I don't put no new updates, but there was a town planner had asked, he came in to ask if, Dan and I can put together a list of kind of wish list, future, projects that haven't even been discussed or talked about yet, but something we would like to see. And so he can put into that phase of the local comprehensive plan. So we'll do that. There's plenty of projects that, can take place that we can add in for the plan as kind of like wish list items. So from, conservation land management plans to forestry plans to restoration of abandoned bogs, and it's like an endless list of projects that we can provide to town planner, so he can add it into that section of the local comprehensive plan about, conservation initiatives.
I've got one thing to add on updates, I guess. The public comment period for the Mashpee Housing Production Plan is going to be closing on Monday, March 11th. So if you have not made a comment as an individual commissioner, I urge you to do so. We didn't take a formal process of putting a comment together as a commission and voting on it. I know the Environmental Oversight Committee is, they have a meeting on Monday to review a comment that's going to be submitted like at the 11th hour, 59th minute. But it's going to be submitted. And if you haven't read that plan, you should read it. It's fairly lengthy. I think it's 172 pages. And there are a lot of issues that both the select board and the planning board have requested that plan to be edited for, and it hasn't been. So the plan that's before you right now is the February 1st draft. And that will
Was
be,
the whole thing sent out under one email?
it would, I think Drew, you sent a link to it or sent.
Oh, like, yeah.
But then I think then the select board met after you sent it out and they requested a laundry list like we would for a continuance. And it wasn't done. So that plan is sitting there and it's just going to be the public comments. And then it goes to the housing, affordable housing. Committee.
So if we go back and look at
Well,
Bruce Link, that would be how we would do our part.
it's right on the front page of the planning board website.
Oh, okay.
You can download the whole thing. And
Listen, with apologies, I have to go, but I'm supposed to be on a Zoom.
read
for
that
this whole thing.
and comment.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, how would I do that?
There's some environmental issues in there that I think the commissioner would be
Okay.
very concerned about.
I mean, we could call you tomorrow to see how.
Other than that, I have no additional comment.
Oh, yeah.
Make a motion for adjournment.
Okay.
Second by Aaron.
Is that the motion to adjourn?
You have a second, standing second, lady.
I am so in favor,
Literally.
yeah.
Aaron.
I think about, yeah.
Yes.
Steve, and I vote yes. So we are out.
Yay, thanks, I love you all.
Take care.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Take care, Margaret.
Okay.